in Vancouver. So normally at this point in folio you can expect to find Bill Richardson lurking around the set. Well, not tonight. No, we sent Sweet William to visit one of his colleagues from the Gabbro show. Marg Meikle reports to Vicky Gabbro every week as the Answer Lady. She has a new book out of the same name, jam-packed with all sorts of trivia questions and answers you can't possibly live without. We sent Bill out on his toughest assignment yet, to have tea with the Answer Lady.
Tea. Thank you, Answer Lady.
Oh, it's off my book.
Sorry.
Okay, fine. Now, I made you a cake, dear.
I know, with your own little hands?
I would never make this cake in a million years if some listener hadn't written. This is a red velvet cake.
I know a little bit about them because I am from Winnipeg.
Did you used to get
red velvet cake.
them at Eaton's?
No, in fact, but I knew of them in sort of myth and legend.
Myth and
we weren't
legend.
a red velvet cake family.
Well, let me cut it and then I'll tell you the
I'm very
legend.
eager to see inside.
Okay, here we go. So,
alrighty. Looks good so far. Holy smokes! Well, I understand the red. Does the velvet refer to the consistency and texture?
well, in theory, I'm not sure it really worked in the icing curdled, which doesn't matter in radio, but it's
All
not
right,
so
dear,
good on TV.
it'll be fine, it'll be fine, I can
awful?
tell.
It's just awful. There's an
Why is
entire
it this red?
bottle of red food coloring in this thing.
Is this fast lane to cancer?
Well, no, in fact, it used to be in the old days. In 1962, the Food and Drug Administration Directorate said, don't put any more than one bottle in one recipe, and one piece of this cake is plenty. But it's not, it's a synthetic dye. But the story about this cake is the really good part. Do you want some tea?
Sure.
The story about the cake is the best part because it's kind of an urban legend. The story, there's three versions of the story that take place in different hotels, but essentially somebody went to a hotel and had a piece of this cake. And what they did is they asked the chef for the recipe, and they said sure. And then what they did is they got a bill, and the versions vary from $300 to $5,000.
For the recipe itself?
For the recipe itself.
But there's a story, the same story about Neiman Marcus cookies.
But more contemporary.
Yeah.
This is the 50s we're talking about.
It's an urban myth.
It's an urban myth, but look at it. I mean, it's larger than life. Close your eyes and take a bite.
Close my eyes and... what? I'm not going to close my eyes and lose the whole visual effect. Forget it. That's just part of the deal. That's why it's called red velvet cake. I can hardly wait.
Well,
well, it's not that it's bad.
it's just that it's bland.
Bland is the right word.
It was 50s, Bill. It was the 50s.
Inoffensive. You could serve this at any 1950s tea party, and people would just be so astonished by the color they wouldn't notice there's really no taste. How did you get to be the Answer Lady, anyway?
Oh, well.
Have you always been omniscient?
Well, sort of. My mother would say that. You always have to ask a million questions. No. Well, when Vicky Gabbro started her show from Vancouver, I thought, how am I going to get on this show? It would be great to be part of a national show that's weekly. I mean, a weekly spot on a national show, a daily show. And I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Because it's so hard to come up with a topic every week.
Self-interest, it's the great motivator.
Yes, I know. Money is a great motivator. So I thought, well, I'll come up with a topic where the listeners write me questions and I go off and find the answers. And so that's what I've been doing. And
now we have other things here that have puzzled Canadians. For instance, Thrills gum. Now, what is so puzzling about Thrills gum? Is it the color again? Kind of a wonderful purple color.
The color, and the question was about the taste. What is the flavor of Thrills gum? Someone in Prince Edward Island wrote to me, so I had to go and find out.
It's a hard question, actually. What is it? What is the flavor of anything? It tastes like what it tastes like, but I forget. It's been since I was a child. I haven't
tried,
had Thrills.
Bill. Cheap Thrill, 25 cents.
Oh, really awful. I think I liked them when I was a kid, but these are really appalling. What is the taste of Thrills?
Well, they're not telling. They call it Thrills Formula 1000, which I think sounds like a racing car or something like that. But it's soap. Oh, I got a whiff of your breath. It's soap. It's lavender and soap. And
Does it smell like soap?
Yeah, it smells like soap. And this gum, it's a very Canadian product. It was started to be made in the 30s by O-Pee-Chee Company in London, Ontario.
O-Pee-Chee?
O-Pee-Chee. Now, where does that come from? You know about poetry.
I'm sorry, I don't
Song
know
of
that
Hiawatha.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and the
By
owners,
the shores of Gitche-Gumee?
Yeah, that kind of thing, yeah. Anyway, the name O-Pee-Chee. And O-Pee-Chee is actually a very famous company because they made all their money on baseball cards and sweet tarts and nerds and things like that. Very Canadian product.
I wonder who buys Thrills.
Well,
Canadian.
25 cents. Lots of people probably, it's cheap thrill.
Now, we also have on this table, excuse me while I reach, Cow brand baking soda. Now, the question about this one is, why the cow?
I just have to say that not everything in this entire book is about food.
No,
but
no,
they're good because they're easy to look at. The cow, now this cow, isn't this interesting? Because this is not just any cow. This is Lady Maud. And she was actually the prize-winning cow at the 1876 Philadelphia Exposition. Now,
for what?
For what? For being a cow. And they thought she's so beautiful, we'll put her on the box. Now,
She
the
could have
reason...
made the best tarts.
Yeah, the reason that they put a cow on the box is because we don't think about this so much now, but in fact I did do it in this cake because I made it from scratch. You put baking soda with milk or sour milk or buttermilk to make something rise. And that's the connection, and that's why they put a cow in the baking soda box. Now, we would never put two and two together on that, probably. Maybe some people would, home economists might. But that's why there's a cow in the baking soda box. Church & Dwight is the company that makes it, and Arm & Hammer is the American version.
When you die, you have to make sure that you donate your brain to science, because it probably has more little creases in it than any other
Stupid
human
things no one
living
needed
brain.
to know.
So, what's puzzling you now?